Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Xoxo, this is Xoxo Tarot, and in today's reading, we are going to be looking at new things that are entering your life. But before we do that, I quickly want to remind y'all that signups are open for my very first ever class, Cards and Stars with K Moon. I'm sure a lot of you have seen already that is out, but I am here to remind you if you haven't signed up yet and you want to, the bonuses that we are offering expire tonight. This is like a huge, really good deal. So if you want to sign up, try to sign up by tonight, because you get a lot of extra really cool stuff like Manifestation Mastery from K Moon, and a guide to asking the right questions from me using your deck, and other fun things like that. But even if you miss that deadline and you sign up before 11:59 p.m. on October 1st, you will still get the entire course. And the course comes with a lot, not only including a workbook, but also office hours every single week so that you guys can sit with us and we can answer questions. That being said, there is technically no cap on the class yet, but if the volume does get high enough that we're worried about the quality of the class for those who have already signed up, we will cap the class. We're already planning to, if we need to, adding extra office hour days or adding to the hours. So no matter what, like, you guys will be our priority, and we will make sure that everybody has what they need. And that being said, if you really want to take the course, but you are not going to have the funds available until in between October 1st and 6th, feel free to reach out to me. If I get a ton of emails like that, I don't know if I will be able to, but if a couple of you know that you want to sign up for the class and you know that you're gonna have the funds available, then feel free to reach out to me. Of course, if it's much further along, that likely won't be possible. But if this class does well and this is something you guys want more of, I will offer scholarships for future classes. Since this isn't only my class, I didn't want to offer something that, when it's not just my class. But that being said, be sure to sign up tonight by 11:59 p.m. if you want to get all the extra bonuses. Signups do close October 1st. And if you're interested, we also are offering a payment plan. So if you can't pay for all of it up front, you can instead chunk it into 2 installments. So I really hope to see you there, and I'm really excited. And that being said, I want to give you a little bit of a vulnerable thank you, because I know that my activity has been a bit different. I gotta be honest, it is deeply uncomfortable marketing yourself, but I'm really proud of this class, and I'm really proud of what I'm doing, and I'm just really grateful for you guys, because you guys have been so supportive and so loving. Like, I was expecting way more negativity and way more just hate, and I've gotten barely any. And honestly, I really should just take a step back and be like, yes, because your community is awesome and you're really lucky. And yeah, I am really lucky. So thank you guys. Thank you to those who are not interested in the class, or those who can't take the class, that are not getting upset at me or lashing out at me. Thank you guys for being supportive, whether it's for you or not. It really just means the world to me, and it's just one of those things that reminds me, wow, I am so lucky to have such a wonderful community and people like you in it, because you guys are so supportive of me. And doing new things like this is really scary, and you guys make it so much easier to do those scary things. And I just have to tell you that your support and your well wishes, and it all means the world. And I completely understand the class will not be for everyone, and that for some of you it's not an affordable option, and for others it might be something you can afford, but it may not be something you're interested in, and I completely understand. I'm just grateful you're here. And I do want to reassure you that videos aren't going anywhere, but ideally classes might replace the extended format in the future, which I think could be exciting and fun. So if you're not fond of extendeds, maybe check out the class if you can. And it's but I make no promises. It's experimental. We're seeing what happens. But ideally, I would like to connect with you guys in new ways. And yeah, I'm really excited for this first class. So comment down below if you've signed up. I want to say hi. And yeah, definitely sign up if you want to. And I just, yeah, thank you guys so much. I love you guys. And I'm just so grateful that you guys are just such awesome people and that you're so kind and supportive of me. And I just hope I can provide you the same. So with that being said, let's go ahead now and get into this reading. I don't know what we're calling this. So I just said new things coming into your life soon. I could not come up with a different noun because things encompass everything. And I want to see everything that is coming your way soon. And by soon, I mean like the next 3-ish months. So we're going to do kind of a classic ASO spread. If you've been around here a long time, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, bear with me. But essentially, we're just going to use the tarot deck that you choose and oracles that I've already pre-shuffled. And we are going to look at every single new thing headed your way. Won't be in a specific order. It could be different for all of you. But if you pick your group and you're like, this is all so good, like, how do I know that this is truly for me? Well, first of all, the fact that you got there and the fact that you connected to it and responded to it and that it's something that excites you to the point where you start to question if it's even for you. Yeah, my dude, that's a sign that this reading is for you, and that's a sign that these good things are headed your way. Other ways to confirm you're gonna feel it. It might be confirmation for something you manifested, so on and so forth. But once we look at all those things, and I've exhausted all options, y'all know me, I can yap and I can certainly look for a hot minute. We're gonna get channeled messages, and what we're gonna use those channel messages for is guidance for you on the energy and mentality that is best suited to attracting these new things into your life sooner and more easily. So if some of them resonate with things you're already doing, that's a sign that you're already attracting these things. And for those of you that are like, I want these things to enter, but I don't know if they will on their own, and I want to know how, the channeled messages are going to be really helpful. And then finally, we will finish off with some guidance for you moving forward so that you can move forward with confidence and be sure you're bringing in these things or know what to do if you need to in order to bring some of these things in. So that being said, if you skip the intro part, quick reminder, sign up by tonight for the extra bonuses in my new class, and class signups close fully October 1st, 2025 at 11:59. So be sure to get in then, because I don't know if this class specifically is ever coming back. So if you have the urge to sign up, if you have the means to sign up, definitely do it, because even if you're not ready to take a class right now, you have lifetime access. You will never lose it. So you can always go back and study on your own time when it works for you. So that being said, we have 3 different tarot decks for you to choose from today with 3 different Halloween-esque figures. So starting with group number 1, we are going to be using the Happy Halloween Tarot, and I have this pumpkin jack-o'-lantern with what looks like a sorting hat on top. And then for group number 2, we are going to be using the Nightmare Before Christmas Tarot. As you know, this is one of my favorite, not my favorite decks, but definitely one of my favorite aesthetic backup decks and one of my favorite movies. And this little Fluorite ghosty on top. I think I'm gonna call her Flo. And then finally for group number 3, we are going to be using the Black Line Tarot, and I have this Obsidian jack-o'-lantern witch on top. Probably just gonna call it a little witch or something and leave jack-o'-lantern over here. Oh, and this guy's orange calcite, if I didn't mention it. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to decide which pile you feel most drawn to. Like I said, it's absolutely okay to be, I don't think I actually said that. I think I'm just so used to saying like I said. It's absolutely okay to be drawn to more than one group. It's possible there's lots of new things coming your way. And if there is a group where you're just like, I don't know how any of this would be entering my life and I don't even want it, that's definitely not your group. I would try a different one, because these new things entering your life, at the very least, should either sound right or should sound exciting and uplifting and like what you've been looking for. So ideally both of those things, but sometimes new things enter our life that we're maybe not necessarily excited about, but we know we need. See what I'm saying? But we'll see what comes through for each group. But with that being said, it is Make-A-Wish time. Intro squad, sound off. My angels, my babies, my sweet precious intro squad. Peeps, how are you doing? How is it going? Okay. My question for you guys today is around holidays and celebrations. Are you one of the people that has found that, I think a lot of people do this, is like as you get older, a lot of the magic of holidays you realize like comes from all the hard work that your loved ones and family members put into making it happen and making it special. So I actually wanted to ask for advice from you guys, if you'd be willing to share it. But what are the things that you do when it comes to holidays that really get you into a holiday spirit? What makes you feel excited and feel like you're in touch with the magic of that holiday, even if it's less than what you experienced as a kid? Like, I would love advice, or like, how do you decorate your house? Like, how do you store decorations? You know, when do you bring those out? You know, it's not like I need an excuse to peruse home goods, but decorations could be a good excuse. Do you cook anything special? Do you make anything? Do you throw any parties or any events? Like, what do you do that makes it special? Because, you know, I think holidays can be quite stressful, and I've spent way too many years using the excuse of I'm too busy and have too much going on to not like celebrate, you know, just the seasons and the things that happen in life. And I want to add some more of that back into my life. And I just wanted to know if you guys have any easy, quick, not too cumbersome in terms of storage ideas around decorating, or, you know, little rituals, habits, events, things that you do. Like, tell me about it. I just would love to hear. And if you have any tips as well on, like, you know, easy decorative things and storing them and things like that, I would love to hear that, because I'm not trying to get a ton of new stuff, but I do want to have a little bit of seasonal decor, you know, just to be a bit more festive than I typically am. I hope you can tell I'm trying to be a little bit more festive. So that's my question for you, intro squad. One thing I will say is that for Halloween, one thing that I've always had that like makes me think of Halloween, and maybe you don't have any advice, but if there's like a food or something that reminds you of this October time, for me, it's two things. It's apple cider and these things called Muddy Buddies, which are like, it's basically like cereal with chocolate and powdered sugar. And I think maybe it's chocolate and peanut butter coated on the cereal, and then powdered sugar on top. And it is excellent. Very, very good. That being said, okay, let's go ahead and make our wish now. I think the sun is the perfect card for this. It's also perfect because it's one I have and is orange, so it fits with the color scheme. And we all need some positivity, joy, and success in our lives, you know? We all need it. So feel free to focus your energy on the candle and focus on your wish. I am going to do the same. May yours, mine, and all of our wishes come true. If I can get this bad boy lit, that is. Okay. Took a second. Tenacity is important, okay? I don't know who that message is for, but if you've got tenacity, your goals are going to get done. All right. That being said, we are going to go ahead now and get into your reading. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being a cool human. And thank you for sharing your energy and space with me. So once you've picked your group or groups, I will see you in your reading. Hi there, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the orange calcite pumpkin and the Happy Halloween Tarot, this is going to be your reading on the new things entering your life. So full breakdown of the reading in the intro. We're doing a classic ASO spread, ASO reading today. So if you need any, if you have any questions, hopefully the intro will answer them. But while I'm shuffling, if you end up enjoying this reading, thank you for leaving me a like, and thank you for letting the ads play in the background for at least 30 seconds, because those are the simplest, easiest, and best ways to support me, though, if you'd like to support me. In other ways, if it's before October 1st, if you have the means, you should sign up for my very first class. If not, just grateful you're here, and no matter what, you should definitely sign up for my email list, because I give out lots of free goodies there, and you get exclusive information and access to opportunities like if personal readings ever open, things like that. Those on my email list have privilege, so they'll know about those things before anyone else will. So that being said, we are going to give these a good shuffle, and we are going to start by looking at all the new things coming into your life soon. I'm not giving them in order. We'll just see how things flow. I'm kind of trusting spirit on this one, but I am excited to see what comes through. So for group number 1, please. What new things are entering group number 1's world in the near future? Okay, we have the 2 of Pentacles. What new things are entering group number 2's world? Okay, we have the 6 of Pentacles. What new things are entering group number 2? Am I calling you group 2? I'm sorry, I'm at group 1. What new things are entering group number 1's life? We have the 9 of Pentacles. Wow. Alexa, play Money by Lisa. Huh. Those of you that have Alexas are probably like, dang, Asa, you got me again. And I'm like, I sure did. That's the consequence of having a surveillance speaker in your house. Not that I'm any better, you know. Well, our phones surveil us and everything else, but I don't know. Something about the Alexa just gives me the heebie-jeebies. And I don't care if your Alexa hears that. Alexa, you give me the heebie-jeebies. Turn off. Okay. New things entering group 1's life, please, Spirit. We have Judgment. And finally, on the back of the deck, wow, we have a High Priestess. I love to see this. And actually, I'm just going to take this off, and then we're going to get into it. So now let's clarify these with the oracles that I drew for y'all. So to start with that, we have Protect Your Heart. I'm also going to make sure these are in the frame, because that's kind of important. Protect your heart. We have Destined, Meant to Be, Have Faith, Believe. We have Gateway. We have Turkey Vulture. And finally, we have Building Your World, Creation, Expansion, Networking. Guys, this is incredibly exciting. And in fact, you'll know this reading is for you if you've had this feeling deep down like things were going to change and things are going to happen, but you're like really struggling to feel like, yeah, but when and how? You might feel this eerie calm, like I know things will work out, I know things will get to where they need to be, but damn, I really wish I was there already. And I also like really want to know when and how that's going to take place. So first of all, one of the new things that is entering your life is a greater sense of balance. And this balance is partially financial, but it's also a bit of a recalibration. If you've been dealing with a lot of fatigue and exhaustion, and on top of that, stress from the fact that you've been quite fatigued and exhausted, one of the new things entering your life is a newfound understanding of why you may have needed that time of rest, why things might be kind of slow or stagnant right now. And I was supposed to finish that sentence with something and I forgot it. So if I don't remember it, assume that you weren't meant to hear it. Because I'm not going to miss something that's meant for you. If you have been in a position where you're kind of trying to find your groove, trying to find a routine, or just feel a bit more centered, I do see that happening. But also, if money has been tight for a hot minute, one of the new things entering your life very well could be someone who can fund, invest, help, support, or the resources that you need to build upon, expand, or start endeavors that really matter to you. The fact, and these don't have to be career-wise. This could be other things, like, for example, let's say you're a stay-at-home parent, and you've been really wanting to renovate the kitchen, but there aren't resources. You know, if you have a partner, which, you know, given that arrangement, I would say it's more likely you do, they might receive a bonus or a raise or something like that, that makes the budget possible for you to have, or for y'all to make those changes. I definitely think in terms of newness, one of the things entering your world are just people who can make your dreams happen. Opportunities that can take you further, bring you into contact with people that can make your dreams happen, and also creative inspiration. If you've been really struggling creatively and feeling like your well is dry, she gonna be filled real soon. Like actually, one of the first things that might come back to you is inspiration. And in fact, one of the aspects of this newness that's really interesting is, I think maybe part of the experience you've been in already is new, or maybe it's not new at all, but how you respond to it is new. So, you know, if you're in a place of stagnancy, frustration, just wanting the next, like just wanting to know what happens next, just wanting to know, when do things change, how do things shift, like I know I'm headed in the right direction, but you know, you might be feeling frustrated, everything that I was kind of describing. I feel like you have this weird sense of peace and acceptance around however you may feel like you're not doing enough right now, or however you may feel like you're not where you want to be right now. I think there is this new understanding in the present of the fact that things are shifting and that things will get better. And even though you don't know how, and you don't know when, and you don't know why, you know that they will. And one of the really interesting things here is that another new thing that's coming into your world is greater trust in your own discernment, and a huge spiritual either awakening or expansion, which I guess you could argue expansion is just a deepening of that awakening. But your connection to your own internal world, and your connection to your faith in your intuition, your faith in yourself, that is strengthening significantly. And the fact that we have the turkey vulture here, one of the new things that could be entering your life, I've actually seen this in two ways. So in one way, you might find that it's easier for you to let go of things and clear away things. Like, for example, if you've held on to certain things, or you've had a hard time cleaning out your closet or things like that, you're going to find that all of a sudden things that you couldn't imagine letting go of, and they don't have to be material things, they could be memories or wounds, like things like that, you're going to realize, oh, I don't need to hold on to this. Like, actually, it's very easy for me to let go of that. And there actually might be people, opportunities, environments, experiences, certain routines where they've kind of overstayed their effectiveness and overstayed their value in your life, and you might be making changes very easily, or even pinpointing problematic areas of your world that could lead to, say, a tower moment in the future. And instead of allowing it to instead of allowing it to evolve into a tower moment, you're making necessary changes and seeing what needs to shift and trusting yourself enough to act on it. And that is allowing you to avoid much more jarring and drastic shifts in the future, where you then go and kick yourself because you're like, I knew I should have made that change. I knew I should have done that. Because the thing is like, I'm sure if this reading is for you, you've had tower moments where you felt intuitively like you should have done something and you didn't do it. You didn't listen to it. You didn't have the data. And then the tower moment happens and you're like, wow, I really wish I would have listened to myself. That's really frustrating. So you're listening to yourself. That's new. You're actually trusting what your own intuition is giving you. And also you're reaching a new level of self-esteem and a new level of success that I don't think you have yet hit. And even if you've had a lot of success in your career or have felt really confident in yourself in the past, you're feeling it on a whole new level. I do think that one of the new things coming in could be new sources of revenue or new sources of support if you are self-employed, or if you are looking for like scholarships or looking for internships, things like that. I definitely see, if not those opportunities coming directly towards you, I see opportunities indirectly, opportunities leading to what you need. I definitely think another aspect of what's new for you is you're going to be questioning yourself a whole lot less. And actually what's really cool is that you're reaching a place of balance materially that's going to allow you to have more faith in yourself spiritually and have more faith in the universe. I do think one of the new things that you might be experiencing in the near future, if you haven't experienced it already, is the phenomenon of spirit just bringing things, or spirit kind of just echoing or confirming through signs very quickly things that you feel intuitively or things you have a desire to create. The fact that we have judgment here, you are due for a profound transformation that leaves you different. So you're gonna quite literally be feeling like a new person in the near future. And I do think there could be some significant event that does that. You know, maybe you do a huge home clean out, and just getting all that stuff out just makes space for newness to occur. Or, you know, maybe you meet someone that just rocks your world in the sense that they inspire you to step into a part of yourself that you admired in others but didn't realize you had in yourself. For others, I definitely think one of the things that's going to rock your world is that when you trust your intuition, magical things will happen. I think what you'll find is that another new thing that's coming to you is you're never going to feel more in control than you ever have. And the irony is that's coming from a place of you being willing to let go of control and trust and have faith, not only in yourself, but in the greater universal currents that guide you. I definitely think as well, if you feel any guilt for any success you've already achieved, or if you feel like you have to hold on to all of your resources and not let anything go, you might realize that you're in a more stable position than you thought, or you might realize how maybe that is creating or leading to some sort of stressful clinging or fearful energy that just doesn't help you in terms of building and expanding and growth. I mean, the biggest thing here is that a new thing coming to you is a level of understanding and vision of your future that not only aligns and resonates with your spirit, but also makes you excited to be alive and feel like, yeah, this feels right for me right now. This feels right for my life right now. And you may not know what that is. You may just have an inkling that things are not right and things do need to change, because the devil you know is no longer one you want to dance with. I also feel like you're going to be spotting people, places, environments, communities, experiences that would not honor the person you're becoming, and that would maybe be too harsh on your heart. If there are people, or if there's boundaries you need to set, or if there's space you need to take, I definitely think you are orienting yourself in a way where you sense threats to your emotional well-being and to your heart space before they ever have an opportunity to reach you. And the beautiful thing is with this newfound trust that you're being that you're cultivating within yourself, you follow through. And so as a result, not only do you protect yourself, but you get further evidence of the fact that you can trust what your intuition is telling you. You can trust the nudges of your body. You can trust the nudges of your spirit. And the fact that we do have judgment here, which is a very powerful card of transformation, I do think that there are aspects of your life that are ending for good. And I think a lot of them have to do with self-flagellation, lack of self-belief, feeling like you need to have control in a way that makes it hard for you to actually flow with what life is trying to tell you. There's just so many things here. And the thing with the gateway as well, one of the new things you're also going to be experiencing is you're stepping into deeper alignment than you've ever experienced before. What you will find is that for once, life actually starts speeding up, and the things that you're trying to create, the things that you want to happen almost instantaneously or a lot faster than you thought. Like, you know, you're getting responses from people more quickly. Your inspiration comes to you faster. You get things done more quickly. You see the vision of your future, and you feel excited about it. Another new thing is you might be putting yourself out there in ways that don't seem like you. Like maybe you find that you have a newfound confidence or a willingness to expose yourself to unknown factors, unknown people, expose yourself to rejection in ways that maybe you were too afraid to in the past because you weren't sure if it would work out, or you were afraid that if you were rejected that it might cause more harm than good, you know, something like that. I also think with the High Priestess being here, I think you're going to be uncovering secrets within you. And these secrets, I think, are going to have to do with how you operate. And what I mean by that is how do you listen to and interpret the messages your intuition, your body, your energy are giving you? How do you take an impulse and manifest it into an expression? You know, how do you assess what energies are flowing through you? You know, are they energies of impulsivity, panic, fear, or are they energies of trust, of flow, of connection? You're going to be correctly identifying what energies you're in and what energies you're flowing with. But the beautiful thing is it doesn't stop there at identification. It goes further. And if what you identify isn't something that you want to embody, you just change it. And I really do think as well, one new experience you're going to be feeling is just a level of trust in yourself and the universe you've never had before. Because what is happening in the near future is, I feel like where you're at right now, you're getting into alignment with where life and destiny wants you. And you're using your free will to do that. So understand how cool and awesome and powerful you are. And so with that, one of the challenges of getting into that alignment is that which is blocking you from being on that path or slowing you down needs to be cleared away. And there might be things as well internally that need to be cleared away. That might require rest, that might require patience, that might require even like an astrological shift. Who knows? All I do know is that once these things are cleared away, once these blockages are cleared away, which I think is already happening naturally. And that reminds me of one thing I was going to mention in terms of newness. If you are used to the universe clearing things away on your own, I kind of mentioned it with that tower moment example. The new thing is pinpointing what needs to be cleared away before that happens. However, if you have been stuck in situations for years and you've wondered why the universe didn't intervene, why did you stay stuck in that place, or like, why didn't you, make a different choice? Why didn't you get a wake-up call? Why didn't something shake you awake and tell you? I feel like you might find that for the first time, Spirit actually does start intervening in your world in ways that make it easier for you to shift onto this path of alignment for yourself. And you will know when you're in alignment, because you won't feel this sense of resistance in your everyday present life where it just feels like what you're doing is wrong, and you feel this like constant, maybe subconscious sense of agitation and frustration, and like just this feeling of like you're moving through molasses. Getting into alignment is going to allow you to move forward a lot quicker. And I think one thing you might find is that and maybe the reason why Spirit hasn't intervened in the past is because maybe you just didn't know that you needed to ask for help, or maybe you didn't know that help was available, or maybe they were trying to help you in their own ways, but they couldn't override your free will. So for those of you that have felt like Spirit hasn't really intervened for your benefit and protection, I would highly recommend start praying, start asking for that. Like, they want to do that. And on top of that, you might find that you don't have to take care of everything yourself. You don't have to wait for shit to hit the fan. You can keep the shit in the toilet and the fan in another room. And it doesn't have to go everywhere and create a shit storm of, okay, yeah, you get it. And that's the biggest thing, like the faith that you have in yourself, the faith that you have in your path and your journey. And also, if you believe in like wee folk, like fairies or elves or something like that, you might have some cool experiences in the near future. You might open yourself up to new energies, and of course be discerning. But you just might, I think one of the new things you're going to have is a greater expansion of your spiritual world that makes it easier for you to navigate the expansion of your material world, because both of those are happening at the same time. And I think one thing that's new for you is like, you've likely either had a lot of movement in the material realm or a lot of movement in the spiritual realm, but you probably haven't had both at the same time. And so that's kind of what this is things are really merging and integrating, and you're literally coming into union with yourself, where you are able to do more with less energy in a quicker time period, and you don't even have to be conscious of the entire process. You're literally just flowing with what feels right and doing what feels right, and that is allowing you to make magic happen. And as I'm saying that, I'm literally seeing Remy, the little rat from Ratatouille, and I feel like Remy is like your intuition and spirit, and you are, I don't know, the ginger protagonist. I can't remember his name, but I do believe he's a ginger. I hope ginger isn't like offensive. The redheaded protagonist. I don't mean any offense. Shout out to the redheads out there. Y'all are awesome. And I've always wanted pretty hair like yours. I think red hair is just the most beautiful. And shout out to my besties that have red hair. Grace and Kat, you know who you are, and you have they have very beautiful red hair. Just the most beautiful red hair you've ever seen. If you saw their hair, you would want their red hair too. They're just stunning. Okay. Sure you needed to know that. That being said though, I think that we can go ahead now and go a bit deeper into how to bring these things in. So we're pulling channeled messages, and the point of these channeled messages, well, I'm going to take this one because it flopped out, is to get you in the energy and the mentality of bringing these things in if you haven't already. Another new thing that could be changing as well is your relationship with giving and receiving. So if you give away too much of your energy, too many of your resources, I do think that you are taking more of that back, and so you don't feel like you have to be scrounging and saving as much because you're like holding on to enough. But if you are holding on to too much, I do think that this will manifest in a way where it's easier for you to let go of what you don't need and use that money or use those resources in ways that further your path or allow you to treat yourself for what you've already worked hard for. You know, this isn't coming from a place of making poor financial decisions. This is coming from a place of making decisions that allow you to live a more balanced life and ensure that you're both caring for your future self and your current self. So your first channeled message on how to attract these energies: directing my focus onto what's thriving creates more of what I want. So definitely focusing on, so if you notice, wow, my intuition is really strong. It's like, I can really trust it. It's going to get stronger. If you focus on, wow, like, people are really responsive and supportive to my ideas, that's going to create more of those opportunities. The more you focus on the goodness you're cultivating and the beautiful new things that are happening, the more you're going to see it and the more it's going to compound. And the less you will worry about the things that you feel like need to be improved. Because honestly too, one of the new things that might be shifting as well is your idea of how things need to improve or how things need to shift. You might realize are unnecessary, and they maybe came from places of shoulds or expectations that you projected onto yourself that you believed were necessary that actually weren't. What else, Spirit? How can group one bring in all these beautiful things into their world? My true safety lies with my capacity to align with the love of the universe. And yeah, I highly, highly, highly recommend doing things that get you in the energy of love, whether it's meditating, and actually I will say for all of you, even if meditating isn't your thing, you need to learn how to make it your thing. And that doesn't mean that you have to sit in meditation. You can do active meditation, you can do automatic writing, whatever the case may be, but you do need some way to make a connection with your internal self. But the important caveat is that you ensure that whatever you are doing in order to get in touch with yourself, it actually works for you, and it isn't something that requires an excess amount of strain or focus to maintain. That being said, focus and meditation itself are skills that you can build. But the type of meditation that may be most effective for you may be different from someone else. So if you see someone else meditating in a different way or has their own way of doing things, feel free to try it out and experiment. But also if it doesn't work for you, or if it's just like not, if you don't feel good afterwards, if you don't feel centered, if you don't feel clear, try something else. And that's the thing, is like, a lot of times you're not going to want to sit in meditation because your brain is going to be in a wavelength state where it's, you know, going a mile a minute, or it's really focused on conscious linear thought, and it's not going to want to slow down. But after you do the thing, however you choose to meditate, you might feel way better. If you feel way better, that is a sign to keep doing it. Like, I think the big key thing here is like, yeah, I don't always like want to go work out. I don't always want to go do that. But I do know that after I do it, I feel really good and really calm. So, you know, even though I might feel an initial resistance, I know that the benefit is worth it. Now, if I do a workout and I feel like crap and I don't feel healthy and I don't feel good afterwards, I'm not going to do that again. You see what I'm saying? Meditation is kind of the same way. And also, I think you'll find that the more you connect to the love of the universe, you'll realize how much love there is surrounding you, your goals, the path you want to follow, the person you want to be. And I think what you'll find is it's so much easier for you to be gentle with yourself, because instead of judging yourself based on the criticisms the greater society have, or criticisms people have given you in your life, or things like that, you're not seeing yourself through those eyes. You're seeing yourself through the eyes of love, through the universe's eyes of love, and realizing like, oh wow, my path does matter. Oh wow, like I am safe on my path. Like what is meant for me cannot be taken from me, and I can claim my divine birthright for my path. I can claim this. Like, you're not taking up space by living your path. If anything, by you not living in alignment with yourself, not living in alignment with what the universe wants for you, with what your spirit wants to experience, you're literally not only robbing yourself of that experience, but you're robbing the world of knowing that version of you that we all deserve to know and see and meet. So anything else, Spirit? How can group 1 bring in these new energies? I let the universe catch up with my dreams. And on the back of the deck, we have I release time and let the universe show me what to do, which is so big and so important, because part of what you're manifesting and creating definitely has to do with earthly stuff. And the interesting thing is that one thing we did mention is that time is going to be speeding up for you. And you're going to see that as you get into alignment, things move quickly, things manifest more quickly. And I think you are going to be in a threshold where the veil between spirit and earth are very thin. So you're able to get guidance, communication, understanding, and you're also able to trust in that and trust in that flow and create on the material realm more easily. That is definitely something that's newer. And having that experience, I think, will be really special and magical, because as you move through it, I don't think that energy is meant to be permanent. I think it's part of a transition. But as you move through it, like when you get out on the other side of it, your reality will be so totally different that a lot of the things that tripped you up in the past, or that really caused a lot of setbacks, you're not even going to remember what it's like to be affected by those things. And so the fact that we have I let the universe catch up with my dreams, and I release time and let the universe show me what to do, this is really you leaning into faith and leaning into the understanding that while our dreams might move at the speed of light, bringing them down here moves at the speed of earth. And it's still going to be faster for you. But I think these are more so around you recognizing that you're not out of place. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not behind. You are literally exactly where you need to be. And in fact, a lot of the resistance and frustration and setbacks you might be experiencing are just the things that need to be brought to your attention and dealt with, because they are the very things that are keeping you from the true alignment with your spirit and with your path that you want to be in. And technically, you're already kind of in alignment now, because you're in alignment with the things that need to shift in order for you to be in deeper alignment. And alignment is really just you, there being congruence with your conscious mind, your spirit, the greater spirits around you, and, you know, your soul, and the path that feels aligned, that feels easy, good, loving. I mean, obviously it may not be. I mean, I'm sure like with every path there are challenges, right? But they're the challenges worth having, and the challenges that are meaningful because they're related to what makes life worth getting out of bed for you. And so one of the things I do want to mention is that things are shifting more quickly than you realize, but it's also important to remember the human perspective. I was just watching a video on prehistoric times the other day, and it took 1 billion years. Well, according to this video, it took 1 billion years for the earth to just have the atmospheric conditions to support life. So, and I'm not talking about humans, I'm talking about like bacteria and like the original beings and creatures that were on this planet way long ago. And so think about if the universe was trying to manifest humans on this planet, how many factors and circumstances, changes and evolutions needed to happen in order to even create the ideal conditions to support human life. Like, it took 1 billion years just to get the oxygen component in place. Like, that is crazy. In terms of manifesting, nobody's better than the universe. So trust that when something is taking some time, just remind yourself, well, at least it's not going to take 1 billion years. And it's not just, and 1 billion years is not for the entire manifestation. It's just so that the atmospheric conditions are right for life. Like, that's just wild to me. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it'll help you put things into perspective. But ultimately, the more you let go and have faith, the easier this is going to flow. And the more you're going to realize, oh, I don't need to be hypervigilant because the universe has got my back. And if I need to do something, I will know. And it will be brought to my attention. So finishing off, we are just going to get some last final guidance. So we have surrender to what is, flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. And not only that, it might be the very thing that could bring you solutions or inspiration or opportunities that you didn't realize were there because you were too busy being frustrated about what you couldn't control. So I definitely think the universe is like, accept where you're at right now because it's not, you're not doing anything wrong. Like, this is where you're at right now is like, if you are an arrow and the universe is the hand, you are like being pulled back by a bow, and you're ready to shoot forward. And like it's like once the bow is in alignment, you shoot forward, right? That's kind of what's going on. And I think you're going to be shocked at how quickly things start to move, how easily it is for you to take action. And you'll also be given the clarity of like, wow, I wish I would have been gentler with myself as I got to this place, because I realize now the universe wanting me to slow down, the universe wanting me to rebalance and take a second to regroup was part of the reason why there was so much resistance to begin with. We also have, I think, my body parts. Example, I am thankful for my hands and all the ways that they help me. So, one of the things that you could do to kind of create a deeper bond with the material realm and with just, the nature of the body, because like if you're like anything like me, you might be deeply frustrated at just how much maintenance is involved in taking care of the human body and just taking care of a life in general. Maybe looking into certain functions of the body, if it's something you haven't studied, could help you like just be grateful for all, the millions, or I don't know how many, there's like at least over seven cells in your body that work so hard to keep you alive all the time and do not ask for anything from you. They just are just doing their job keeping you alive. I also think as well, there's something here around embracing imperfection and how your imperfection is perfect. You don't need to be think about all the ways in which you compare yourselves to others and say, I need to be more like that. I need to do more of this. Really challenge yourself and ask why. Is it because you're judging yourself? Is it because you think you're not enough the way that you are? Is it even a realistic ask of you? like go into all that stuff, because you may realize that you've been putting pressure on yourself to be a part of a process that isn't even nourishing or sustainable for you. And yeah, you don't need to be dealing with that. But we also have Obelisk with Connect. So I would highly recommend, number one, if you enjoy crystals, getting crystals that have like a tower shape like this. This is just, I believe it's Obsidian, but it could also be tourmaline. But I mean, it could be any crystal you want, but just one that has kind of a tower-esque shape could be helpful in terms of meditation or in terms of connecting with spiritual energy. Definitely, like, the biggest guidance here is to start connecting to spirit in any way you can, because that is going to be something that just helps you feel more confident and helps you align with the energies of love and compassion and understanding. And it doesn't matter how stuck in your head you've been. Sometimes all it takes is just the remembrance of like, oh, my guides aren't mad at me. Oh, the universe isn't mad at me. I'm just being human. And oh, they're actually here for me. Oh, they've been here all along. Like, oh, I don't have to be so hard on myself. Like, I can be gentler. I definitely think the more you can connect to spiritual energy, the more you're going to be able to get in touch with your own intuition, the more you're going to have access to energies of love, of expansion, of just clarity, cleansing, prosperity, peace. And the more you do that, the easier it is going to be to bring into your everyday reality without it being lost to memory or the sands of time. And then finally, there we go, meditation for clarity. Meditation is going to be a powerful tool for you. And part of that process is learning how to allow the thoughts that you can't control to surface while still returning to a sense of calm, a sense of nothing, a sense of empty-headedness. But I would highly recommend you look into meditation techniques if you are neurodivergent in any way, or if you have any accommodations you might need. Look into ways to meditate for those specific accommodations. If you're unsure which ways work for you, stick with something even if you're unsure. I think the clearest sign that something won't work for you is if you not only don't enjoy it, but you don't receive any benefit from it. Ideally, you want to look forward to whatever meditation skills you end up using. But the most important thing is that you feel good, you feel clear, you feel centered after doing those things, even if not immediately, over time. That will be really helpful. And ideally, hopefully you can find a way to meditate that you not only look forward to, but that also feels good. That would be a win-win, and I would love that for you. And my heart kind of jumped when I said that. So I think that is a new thing that's possible for all of you. Meditating consistently in a way that not only actually brings you clarity and brings you closer to yourself, but also feels good and doesn't feel like it takes all the forces of the universe to just get you to sit down and slow down. So yeah, the number 47 could also be significant because I've noticed that number twice. But yeah, pile one. That is where I'm going to leave this reading. So thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background, at least for the first 30 seconds while you do something else. That is the simplest and easiest way to show support and appreciation for my channel. But if you would like to support me in other ways, you can like this video, you can comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch, my social media. You can sign up for Cards and Stars until October 1st, 11:59 p.m. If it is beyond that point, you can sign up for my email list to not only get fun freebies and random little messages, but also insight into things like personal readings should they ever open, and things like classes and other things should they be available to you once more. I highly recommend not unsubscribing, because even any emails related to stuff like classes or things like that, you know, they will only be for a period of time, and then it's just fun and freebies. So stick it out. I feel bad for the people that have already unsubscribed because they're missing out on a lot of goodies, and it really sucks for them. But other things, you can leave me a tip. My Cashapp is palehag, and my PayPal is my email. You can check out social media. You can check out my other readings, ones with extended. You can share me with a friend. You can share me with others in general. You can send love and good vibes my way. I'm sending them right back. Oh, you can subscribe. Thank you to everyone who does that. Comment down below, let me know how it resonates. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope these messages resonated and brought you the messages you needed to hear. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video. I love you guys so, so, so much, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Fluorite Ghostie, I think we've decided to call her Flo, and the Nightmare Before Christmas Tarot, this is going to be your reading on the new things coming into your life. Full breakdown of the reading in the intro, but I'm just going to go ahead and give your cards a really great shuffle. I already have your oracle shuffled, and then we will get into things. But if you end up enjoying this reading or want to support me or show appreciation in any way, leaving the video a like is super helpful. Thank you everyone who does that. Letting the ads play in the background, subscribing, commenting, all of that is super helpful. And if it's before October 1st when you're watching this and you have the means and desire, signing up for my first ever class, very helpful and exciting. So looking forward to all of y'all that have already signed up. But that being said, let's give this one more good shuffle and get into it. All right, that wasn't a good shuffle, so we have to get a good shuffle and then we get into it. Because if I start shuffling, it'll feel off and wrong, and then I'll spend the whole dang reading over everything. That one wasn't amazing. One more, and then I will accept the outcome. Good enough. All right. Okay. So for group number 2, please. What new things are entering group number 2's world in the near future? We have the 7 of Swords. Please forgive me if it takes me a minute with the Roman numerals. I am a product of the United States public education system, and sometimes it shows. What else, Spirit? What other new things are coming to group 2's world? Ooh, we have the 10 of Cups. What else? What else is coming to group 2's world? We have the King of Wands. What else is coming to group 2's world? We have the Hierophant. And finally, on the back of the deck, we have the 6 of Cups, which is very beautiful. Okay, let's move these over. And now, looking at your oracles. To start, we have Healing Through Rest. We have Keep It Simple, Peace of Mind, Less is More, Accept Help. We have the Seal. If there is a Seal song, like by the artist Seal, that resonates for you or that has been in your mind, take that as confirmation. Or there might be messages for you in a Seal song. We have Power. And we have Grateful Optimism, Joyous View of the Future. So, what new things are entering your life, group 1? There's one interpretation that's pretty straightforward, and it's not for all of you, but it is for some of you. For some of you, you could be connecting for the first time in this lifetime or reconnecting with someone who means a lot to you. Someone who makes you feel like yourself, someone who makes it easy for you to be yourself, someone who makes you feel, someone who connects you to your own inner child where you feel like you can just play and have fun with them. Someone who makes you feel confident in who you are. You feel more of yourself around them. You feel like you can be loud, boisterous, fun, all of that jazz. And in fact, this reconnection could come from a place of just breaking the ice after a long time of not interacting with one another. And it could, and I would say nothing, it's likely that nothing happened. I just saw the most beautiful monarch butterfly, by the way. That could be symbolic for some of you, but this could be reconnecting with someone special to you that maybe you haven't talked to for a long time because you were like, well, what if they hate me now because I haven't reached out to them? And one thing I would argue is that the phone works both ways. So, you know, don't feel like you have to put all the pressure on yourself for that. But they could be coming out of the woodworks to reach out to you, or vice versa. So you could be reconnecting with someone that you really care about, someone that makes you feel good, or meeting someone soon that really supports you and makes you feel good, makes you feel like yourself, invigorates you, and that you leave interacting with them feeling like you have just found, leaving you feeling like really grateful. Like one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm so grateful for connection and humanity and like life and experiences. It's kind of one of those energies. But what's interesting is that a lot of what's new that's entering your life may be less so about things literally changing and more so you changing in ways to embrace the beautiful things already in your life and bring in so much more. So one of the new things that I see coming into your world with this Hierophant card being here is a new structure in your life that not only makes you feel empowered, but also allows you to maintain a sense of balance that you might really struggle with. You know, with this seal card here, it does talk about balance. And one of the things that it mentions is, you know, when a seal moves through water, it's very graceful, but when it's on land, it's quite, its movements are quite awkward. And so you might find that in certain areas of your life, you know, you're able to move forward with ease and grace. And in others, things are a bit awkward and clunky and challenging. So, you know, it might be, for example, that in your work life, you know, or in your social life, everything is hunky-dory. But when it comes to the things in your personal world, like personal growth, maybe you avoid that like the plague or have been because you just don't want to be in touch with yourself, which is totally understandable. Like, because what I see for a lot of you, this reading is definitely for you if you've been struggling in the sense of feeling guilty because you feel like you should be more grateful, or you feel like your life is really beautiful, but for some reason you're just not happy or you just don't feel great. And I think the really big reason why that is, like, you not feeling grateful is not a sign that you are an ungrateful person or that you're not grateful for your blessings. It's a sign that you probably are in a state of survival mode, or just in a state where your needs are not properly being met. And as a result, you just don't have the energy or capacity to feel those feelings because all of your energy is dedicating itself to just keeping things moving forward. And I actually think what's new that you're about to experience is realizing the power of slowing down. I mean, the fact that we have healing through rest here and the Six of Cups, which can be all about reconnection, I really feel like, first of all, if you have fire placements, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, you know what it's like to be passionate and bold. And let's be real, you don't even need those placements in order to know what it's like to be passionate and bold. You just may have a greater predisposition to it depending on how much fire energy you have in your chart. But that being said, what's new is that if you have always held a little bit of your personality back because you've been afraid of being too much, or, you know, you've been afraid of how you've been perceived, you are going to be giving a lot less of a fuck about that. I really wish I could have said that loud and proud, but I said shit way too much. And group one's reading, so now I got to be careful. But with that being said, I feel like you are going to be so much less, if you find yourself like self-policing a lot, or just holding yourself back, masking in any sort of way around others, and even maybe towards yourself, I think what you're going to find is that you no longer have the energy to hold back parts of yourself you once did. And as a result, you realize how good it feels to be yourself, and also that people really respond to your authentic self. That, you know, sure, some people may not get it. Some people might not enjoy the amazingness in front of them. It's probably because they're super jealous. Like, let's be real. But the reality is that socialization is going to feel really good because you're actually inside the interactions rather than observing from the outside and trying to determine what your next word should be, or how you're listening. Are you talking too much? You know, it's almost like you're dedicating your energy to allowing your passion to flow, and your like just true enthusiasm and spirit to be shared, rather than trying to hold it back and be more like palatable or what the hell ever for other people. Listen, they can appreciate who you are, they can choke like that. I'm like, I say it with peace and love, but like, it's not your problem. It's not your problem. I definitely think that a new thing coming into your life is you're going to find that balance, like finding your balance and finding your flow is actually going to get easier and easier, because a lot of what's held you back from finding your flow and balance is the illusion of how you've perceived flow and the illusion of how you think you should be flowing and what you think you should be doing. So with the Seven of Swords being here, one of the new things you're going to be experiencing is the recognition of how, when you do things based on solely how your conscious mind thinks you should do them and where it thinks you're at, how it actually takes you further away from alignment, takes you further away from yourself, and leaves you in a state of deprivation and undernourishment. Recognizing those thought patterns and stopping before you listen to them. And here's the thing, when you stop before you listen to them, here's what's most profound. You're gonna feel so fucking good. So good that you are just like, wow, no wonder I felt like crap. I was spending all my energy holding my energy back when I could have just been standing in my power. And I think what you're also going to realize is that any guilt or shame that you've been carrying because you feel like you've been off your path, or you haven't been serving others enough, or you've been disconnected from your spirituality, or you know, you just feel like you've been dropping the ball, you're going to realize, oh, this is all just part of a greater cycle where I'm learning how to listen to myself better and follow my flow and follow what's true for me, rather than adhering to a structure or system that leaves me deprived and unwell because I think that's how I should be doing it. You know, like an example that I'd be thinking of is one way in which this could change is that you might be changing up your schedule if you have control over it, where you're allowing yourself to work. Like if you are able to choose when you work, you might choose different times. Like you might move into a more nighttime cycle if you're more of a night owl and realizing that helps you, or even asking if you can switch shift times or something like that to try something new. I feel like one of the new things you're going to be having is the confidence to actually ask for what you want, because the more you do that, the more you realize how good it feels to just receive what you're asking for. A new thing that you're really truly going to understand is the value of ask and you shall receive. I definitely think if you have the tendency to overcomplicate things and to the point where you kind of get confused and lose clarity and find yourself being exhausted, I think you're going to find one of the new things you're experiencing during this time is releasing the need to question and analyze something to death. And the fact that we have keep it simple here, I think you're going to find that a lot of your power comes not in analysis, but the willingness to have courage to take action, even if there are fearful thoughts coming up, even if you are uncertain, even if you know that you don't know how something will turn out. I think a new aspect of yourself is you're learning how to get more comfortable taking healthy risks. So, you know, there's a difference between healthy and unhealthy risks. Jumping off a cliff for fun, not necessarily a healthy risk, but maybe putting yourself out there in a new way, like sharing something you wrote, or, you know, sharing yourself with the world, healthy risk. putting yourself up for promotion, putting yourself out there. You get what I'm saying. The biggest aspect of this is that one new thing that you're going to be experiencing is no resistance to what you need to do to meet your needs. So, for example, healing through rest. One thing you need is to sleep. And when you are not sleeping, resting, to give your mind things to occupy it, or give your mind things that entertain it without overstimulating it to the point where you can't slow down. So like, you know, doing something that like for example, if you need to do something with your hands, doing something like knitting or something that is productive and creative, that gives your brain some sort of stimulation, but that doesn't, like, say for example, you know, TikTok feed, that is going to overstimulate yourself. I saw a comedian describe TikTok the other day. I think it was Kathleen Madigan. She's great. And she said that, that her nieces showed her TikTok and they asked her how she felt about it. And she said that she felt like she had just hung out with someone that did an 8-ball when she got off of it. And if you don't know what an 8-ball is, think of things that go up your nose that give you non-natural energy. She felt like that. That's not a healthy brain state to be in. And that's definitely something that will contribute to erasing mind and things like that. And we all know that consciously, but let's be honest, it's so easy to just get on there and make excuses or anything like that, because they're designed to be addictive and, you know, capture your attention. So it does take a lot of like power. But the cool thing is that for the first time in your life, you've never felt more empowered and in control of your life and yourself. If you have and still do take action from a place of wanting to please others, or just wanting to take action in a way that reduces the likelihood that you receive pushback or judgment, that's flying out the window, which honestly makes me so happy for you, because you don't even need to be doing that in the first place. You know, there's a difference between trying to cause harm and, you know, saying or doing something on accident. Like, most people are understanding. You're human. You might make a mistake, but people that know your heart, like, they're gonna forgive you and they're gonna understand. And that's the thing, is like, you are not the type of person who wants to intentionally cause harm, so much so that you actually avoid just taking action, period, because you're afraid of that. You can't live your life that way. There are going to be people that decide you've caused them harm merely for existing, because they're peanut butter and jealous, typically. And who wouldn't be jealous of someone who is boldly embracing their spirit and making powerful moves in the world and not letting their fears hold them back? The only other people who wouldn't are those who are already doing it. So one of the new things coming into your life are people that embody this, or spending more time with people that embody these energies. So if there are people already in your life that you admire, I think you can expect that you'll be connecting with them more often, likely because you ask for that, or likely because you attract it naturally. You're going to be unapologetic about meeting your needs and actually tuning into yourself enough to know what your needs are. And it might be a process of trial and error to figure out how the best way to meet those needs. But I think what you'll find is the new thing that you're going to experience is the realization that it's not that you don't need all of your manifestations to be here, all the things you're creating, or reach all of your goals in order to be fulfilled and happy in the present. You can be fulfilled and happy in the present, or fulfilled and at peace in the present. Let's say that, because happiness is more so transient, but I guess all states of being are transient, but you can be like having an emotion and also be at peace with that. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like you are reaching a level of fulfillment that you've never experienced, and realizing that this level of fulfillment would have never been able to have been tapped into if you continue to be deeply disconnected from yourself and weren't able to give yourself like the nourishment and care that you needed. A lot of what's made it challenging for you to feel fulfilled and satisfied and happy, or I don't know, maybe sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're frustrated in your world, really just comes down to not having enough energy or support for, you know, the needs that you need to meet, not having awareness of what those needs are and how to meet them to begin with, not having the courage or the confidence to accommodate for your needs, instead of being unapologetic about it. You know, I'll use myself as an example. I went to a bachelorette party about a half a year ago, and I was really nervous about it because you know, that's just quite an overstimulating environment, and I was going to be there for, you know, a weekend, and even though everyone was wonderful, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hang. I mean, I know I'm not going to be able to like drink on their level or anything like that, but like I just don't want to be grumpy or cranky or anything like that because I'm being pushed to my limits. And so, you know, what I did is I gave myself ample time and space when I needed it. And sure, I might have gotten a little bit of crap, like some of them saying, well, we turn around and it's like you disappear for 2 hours, and it's like, yeah, it's because I went to go take a nap. Like, and I needed those naps. I needed that time. And I'm really glad that I did, because it allowed me to hang in a way that allowed me to enjoy myself as much as I can without pushing myself in unnecessary ways. And I really think that is something that you are learning how to do. And I will say, like, it's still hard. Like, I still felt guilty and I still felt kind of bad. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm here, though. I showed up. I care. And if someone else has a problem with what I need to do in order to ensure that my needs are met, they're not a real friend. They're not someone who truly cares about me, because somebody would understand that. And also, like, in that willingness to compromise, I'm sure you have that too. It's like, yeah, I'm willing to push myself and go further, like, especially if it's something that's really meaningful. I just need to know so I can prepare in advance and ensure, you know what I mean? So you are getting really good at anticipating your needs, getting really good at being unapologetic about honoring them. And on top of it, recognizing what is already there within your world that is fulfilling and meaningful and beautiful. You know, the people in your life that you love that are here, the aspect, like the tiny aspects of your life that you're grateful for. Like, maybe you have a beautiful commute to work, or, you know, maybe you have a really awesome boss, or maybe you have a lot of freedom in what you do. Maybe you have a kick-ass bed that is super comfy. I hope you do. Whatever it is, those small things, like acknowledging those small things, I think is going to be a very powerful grounding exercise for you, and a reminder of just all the things around you that are at your fingertips that you can use to care for yourself, rather than being in a place where you're like, oh, stressed out about something and stressing out about the fact that you're stressed, and then stressing out about the fact that you're stressed, and that stress is making you exhausted, and that exhaustion is leading to more stress. You're breaking that cycle and learning how to actually achieve mental rest. I would encourage you to Google like mental rest strategies. It's going to take time and focus to get there, especially if you're not used to it. But I promise you, it'll feel really good once you start to master that, because one thing you'll realize is how exhausted you always are when you never have mental rest. Like, you might have plenty of physical energy, but the mind is so fatigued that it cannot support the body in anything it needs. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to be feeling a level of power and courage and authenticity, and embodying that authenticity in ways that you never have before. You're going to be feeling centered and balanced in ways where you know what your needs are and have a much better idea on how to get them met, and are unapologetic about meeting those needs when you need them. I think you're also recognizing that it's okay to not always have to go above and beyond. And that, in fact, when you are being yourself, that's more than enough. I also think with this grateful optimism here, now that your needs are actually being met, you're then able to just be in a better energy because you don't feel like shit. And then you feel grateful for everything that's around you, and you realize, oh, I wasn't ungrateful. I was just literally being pushed to my brink and stuck in survival mode. And that is not only what allows you to attract more into your present, but it also creates a lot of positive momentum for your future, because you already see the beauty and the blessings and the abundance that are around you, that you've already cultivated for yourself, that you already have. And that just sets you up for success in terms of your future, because you're creating more fulfillment, more reconnection. And I think one thing that you're realizing through all of this, and one of the new things that you're going to realize is that the feelings that you've been desiring to experience that you have yet to, because you believe that they come in the form of another person, a goal, etc., you realize are accessible to you now. And while yes, those feelings may also be accessible by another person and things like that, your ability to feel them is most profound and most powerful, and is not dependent on an external thing. You're learning that and realizing that I can feel deeply fulfilled now, not because everything is complete or everything is finished, but rather I'm recognizing all the goodness in this moment, all the goodness within me, all of the beautiful things in my life and my world that are really huge blessings. And I also think as well, this reconnection could be with a fire sign, actually. It may not be with, if you're not a very fiery person, then this reconnection or connecting to someone who you have like a soul connection to could be like just a fiery type person. It really makes me think of a friend that I have. She is so badass. She's a lawyer, and I've been friends with her since college. And one of the things that I first just absolutely adored about her was her voice and her willingness to stand up for what is right, and her ruthlessness in defending what she believes is true and right to the end. Hello, Sagittarius energy. And I was like, I am obsessed with you, and I want to be around you all the time because you make me feel more powerful. You help me tap into the part of myself that wants to be unapologetic about what I believe in, and that wants to stand up for what I believe in. And you remind me that it's okay to have conflict with people, to stand up for myself. And I definitely think one of the new things entering your life could be a person that inspires that in you, or reconnecting with a person that inspires that in you. But for a lot of you, you may already have that. I definitely think in general, though, you're going to be connecting to parts of your inner child where you realize like the solutions that are most powerful and effective may not be the most over the top. They may be as simple as just letting yourself take a nap. It might be as simple as giving yourself the weekend off. It might be as simple as just asking a friend to hang out with you for a little bit. I think what you'll find is that the most powerful ways to meet your needs are not things that you have to go out and buy or have to work really hard to receive. It's really more so a matter of just like, oh, I think maybe I could use a couple minutes out in nature. Let me go for a walk. Oh, I think I could use a bit of a nap. Let me set an alarm. Like, a little bit will go a long way. I also just realized this lady kind of looks like Kirsten Dunst, and I love that. I love that a lot. I definitely think also too, like, you're standing in your power in ways where you realize how you've given your power away in the past, either by being afraid by the actions of others, being afraid of your own power within. I mean, you know, there are a lot of examples of people abusing their power, so it's understandable that you might be afraid of your own. But that's why it's so important to have a connection to your heart and a connection to your authenticity, because when you have integrity and when you are coming from a place of authenticity and kindness and love, those are the types of people that we need standing in their power and showing that power is not about control or domination. It's about centeredness. It's about letting go of what you can't control. It's about focusing on what you can control and using your power in ways that uplift you rather than, you know, assuming that your power can be taken away. I think you're taking away power from systems, beliefs, and people that may have had a lot of power over you in the past that you now realize, I don't need their approval. I don't need to do things their way. They are not the expert on how things should be done. Their way might work for them, but their way doesn't work for me. And they don't need, and I don't owe them an explanation. I don't owe them proof that that's the case. And in fact, I don't need their approval in order to feel good about myself. That is what I think is going to be really powerful as well. So, yeah, what's new for you is realizing that is not realizing, it's feeling deeply all of the emotional experiences that are positive, uplifting, healing, supportive, powerful, that you have been stuck laboring under an illusion that you don't have access to, and realizing that it's not that you didn't have access to them, is literally like they are being denied to you, but it's likely you didn't have access to them because your body, your mind, your energy is so strained just trying to maintain systems of operating that just weren't for you in the first place, and that just made it exhausting to exist. So that being said, let's go ahead and go a bit deeper now and see how you can attract this newness into your life and your world if you aren't already. And if any of these cards resonate like as things you're already doing, then take that as a sign that you're already on the right track. But just know you're attracting these things no matter what. These cards are just to assist you in attracting these things more quickly and having more inner peace as you do it. I also think that if you don't know what you want out of your future, what you want out of your life, what will make you happy, I think one thing that you'll realize that may be new for you is I think you'll care a lot less about the semantics of what your future looks like and care a lot more about, I just want to feel good and feel aligned with my authentic self and be in a place where I'm nourished and like things that will allow you to thrive. I think that's going to be more so of your focus, and your goals and the things you want to achieve, ambitions. It's not like those are disappearing, but you have much less attachment and the need to cling to them than maybe you did in the past. And you also realize you don't have to be hyper vigilant about getting to those goals because you're well on your way, and you know you can trust that process. So for group number 2, Spirit, how can they attract all these new wonderful things into their life? When I live and act from a place of spiritual alignment, I can trust that everything is working out for me, even if I don't know when or how it will happen. Yep, that is living in faith. And I think for spiritual alignment, that can be many things, but I think like one of the biggest things is like, look at where you're a hypocrite. That's where you're out of alignment. So like I'll rake myself over the coals, and y'all have called me out for it, and I'm very grateful for that. You know, I'm always telling you guys how much you deserve to feel loved, how much you deserve to take your steps, like to share yourself with the world and step into the world and be more of yourself and be unapologetic and feel good about who you truly are. But I don't always feel that way about myself. And in fact, a lot of times I feel like I want to hide from everything and beat myself up a little bit too much. And that makes me a huge hypocrite, because how can I expect you guys to do that when I'm not even doing it for myself? But that's the thing, is sometimes we need a break from that stuff so that we can go back. Because like, truthfully speaking, sometimes when we feel that way about ourselves, it's just because we don't have the mental capacity or the energetic capacity to really just be there for ourselves. So know that it's okay when you're out of alignment. It's okay when something isn't clicking, because that's the realization you need in order to get back into alignment. And I think what you'll find is the more you're living based off of those values that you truly believe in, it might be stressful mentally, because, you know, spiritual authenticity and conscious linear logic very often do not think the same things. But that's where faith comes in. And I think you have a very powerful faith system that will be easier for you to step into the more you realize how good it feels to honor what you need, rather than invalidate that or minimize that because you feel like you shouldn't need that because other people don't need that, for example. What else, Spirit? How else can group 2 attract this energy? Yes, is this right? Yeah, the universe has big plans for me and it's time to claim them. Yeah, I definitely think so. Like, this is literally like the new thing that's coming to you is the recognition that it's time. It's time to take action. It's time to stop waiting for the life that you want to happen in the future. And thank God, because like a lot of the life that you want in the future is accessible to you right stinking now. And it's going to help you manifest more of that in the future. And what else? I trust that my powerful intentions combined with my faith are enough to allow my vision to become reality. And on the back of the deck, we have the universe that's always conspiring to support me, guide me, and lead me compassionately toward the highest good. This belief will make even the darkest and hardest of times manageable and doable. Because even though you may not know what's going on, you might feel like shit, you might be terrified, ultimately, you're not wasting the excess and likely little mental energy you do have on beating yourself up about it or trying to find a solution. And instead, conserving that energy, lying back and trusting that that clarity will come to you when it is meant to, and not a moment sooner. And if clarity is not coming to you, maybe it's because you don't need to have access to it right now. Maybe you just need a nap. So, finishing off this reading, we are just going to finish off with some final guidance for y'all. So to start, beautiful, we have good fortune. So the universe really has your back, and know that there are beautiful things in your future and you can access them more quickly and feel the tangible reality just off in the distant future, that you can feel their existence by just tuning into what you feel grateful about your present environment now. I feel very grateful that you're here. I feel very grateful that we're able to connect through cardstock and the internet. Like, all of that is really helpful. And I think you are being protected, you are being supported, and you are exactly where you're meant to be. Nothing that is meant for you will miss you, and nothing that is meant to be yours can be taken from you. There's a lot of beautiful things in your future, and there's a lot of good fortune surrounding you. So really trust yourself, because the courage and conviction that already exists within you is more than enough for you to go leaps and bounds further than you could even envision or imagine. And that's part of the magic. We also have transformation and change. So I feel like this is just huge confirmation that you are changing and transforming. Things are changing and transforming, even if you don't realize it. But if there are any changes that you know you need to make that you've been putting off, now is the time to start. You're not going to feel more motivated in the future. If anything, you're probably going to be thinking, I wish I would have made that change earlier so it wouldn't have been as challenging now. Stop waiting. If there are any changes you know you need to make, go for it. If you don't feel like there are any changes you need to make, then just continue flowing with this transformation, because you're already well on your way to achieving it. And you don't have to overthink it. It's all happening naturally and very beautifully. Yes, we also have surrender to complete healing. Open fully to the loving, compassionate forces of the universe that support your physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. And I really think that's the thing, is like the new version of you that you're stepping into recognizes when wounds are operating and influencing your conscious actions in a certain way. And instead of leaving it there, you're addressing the wounds head on, doing what you need to do if there is anything that needs to be done. Sometimes things just need to be felt, accepted, released. Sometimes things resurface, so on and so forth. But basically, these new things are allowing you to step into your world in a way where it's almost like you feel a little bit like a blank slate, even though you're not technically, but just there's less protectiveness and defensiveness around certain insecurities or fears, because you feel centered and you've done the healing, whether consciously or unconsciously, that has allowed you to just move about in the world in a safer way. And that doesn't mean that moving in the world as yourself won't feel uncomfortable or scary at times. It just means that you have enough trust in yourself and your path to be able to handle whatever challenges arise as a result. And finally, we have, yes, I am becoming the kind of person who I would love to meet. And that's what you're doing. And I really think too, like, the more you honor who you are, the more people are just going to respond to that and just really love and adore you. I don't know why, but I just thought of Caleb Heron. He's a really, really, really funny comedian. I really, he's hysterical on podcasts, and I don't know why. I just thought of him just now. So maybe there's something in him that you might admire, or maybe there's something about his personality that you admire, and maybe you're meant to embody that in yourself. I definitely think like he's a great example of someone who owns who they are, like the good and the bad, and they are unapologetic about that, and also use that to their advantage. Like, they're very funny. Yeah, very funny person. Maybe that's how you are too. And I definitely think that the more you step into this new version of yourself that's just more unfiltered and more authentic and more raw and more unapologetic, the more you're like gonna be like, damn, I really love who I am. Because yeah, the person who you truly are, the best. And I think you're gonna see that for yourself very, very soon. So group number 2, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background, at least for the first 30 seconds. I don't expect you to watch them, I'm not a monster, but that is the simplest and easiest way to support me beyond leaving me a little like, commenting down below. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and turns that notification bell on. Those of you that do not want to miss out on the bonuses, better sign up by the 28th at 11:59 p.m., which is technically when I upload it today. So that's the benefit of having notifications. You don't miss out on time-sensitive things. Comment down below, obviously, how it resonates. You can sign up if it's not after October 1st at 11:59 p.m. You can sign up for Stars and Cards. Definitely feel free. Definitely, please do that. This is your chance. And even if you're not ready to learn, lifetime access. So you can always go back and access the class when you are ready. You can leave me a tip. My Cashapp is palehag, and my PayPal is my email. You can check out social media, other videos, ones with extended. You can share me with a friend. You can send me love. Check out my candles. Code ACE with 10 for 10% off. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope these messages resonated and you got what you needed from them. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Obsidian Pumpkin Witch, this is going to be your reading. Oh, and the Black Lion Tarot, this is going to be your reading on the new things entering your life soon. So we are going to go ahead and give your cards a good shuffle, and then I will lay out your oracles, full breakdown of the reading in the intro. But while I'm shuffling, if you guys end up enjoying this reading, thank you for leaving me a like. Thank you for leaving a subscribe, comment, support, all of that jazz. Thanks for letting the ads play in the background. Those are all simple, easy ways to support me. But if it's before October 1st or 11:59 p.m., feel free to check out the class that I'm offering. If it's something that is aligned with you, that would be an excellent way. But I'm just grateful you're here and that you're letting me read for you. So let's get a good shuffle or two and see what new stuff is coming out. There are a lot of titties in this deck, so I may need to censor some stuff. Tried to get most of them beforehand, and I went so far as to make it fair by censoring the male nipples too. Because if we can't see lady nips, we shouldn't be able to see man nips either. Put them away. And that's what I'm doing to appease our corporate overlords. Okay, so group number 3. Spirit, what new things are headed group number 3's way in the near future? What new things are entering? Ooh, we have the Ace of Swords. What else? What other new things are entering group? We have the Six of Wands. Let's go. What else is entering group 3's life in the near future? We have the King of Wands. Interesting. This is the second time the King of Wands is coming out in this position. If you're drawn to any of the other groups, there might be messages for you there. there also might not be. Trust yourself. What other new things are coming to group 3's life? We have the Wheel of Fortune. Beautiful. And then on the back of the deck, we have the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles also came out in another group. So might be some other stuff there for you. So to clarify these cards, we have Cornucopia. We have Do More of What You Love. We have Opossum. We have Healing Chaos. And finally, we have Touching Earth, planting something new. Cool, 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 cool. Okay, is everything in the frame? No, it is not. Let me fix this a little bit. You guys get third group privilege, which is I actually remembered to check and make sure all the cards are in the frame. Because I forgot that for some of the other groups. Okay. I really love to see this group 3. Honestly, and this is pretty straightforward. Like, a lot of the new things entering your life are things you've already been in the process of cultivating and creating. But I definitely think one of the things that has been stumping you is a lack of clarity around what is actually needed to accomplish these goals. And I think what you're realizing is there's a lot less you need to do and a lot more you just need to embody. And what I mean by that is that you have a process and your process is unique to you. But that process might also be stressful. And part of that stress might come from the fact that you know what your patterns are. And you know they stress you out. But at the same time, when you try to change the pattern, it seems impossible or it just doesn't work. Like, no matter how hard you try to make it happen, it's like trying to milk a rock. You're not getting anything from that. And I think one of the new things that's coming into your life is a realization of, you know what? Maybe my own chaos is the most effective way for me to get where I'm going. Because let me be clear, you don't need to be fully organized or have things fully figured out in order to find healing, in order to accomplish your goals, in order to get where you need to go. And I feel like what's really, really cool about all the new things coming into your world is like goals that you've had for a long time. And I think some of these goals are a lot more simplistic than, and I don't say simplistic in a bad way. I say simplistic in a really good way, in the sense that while they might seem like small things, and that's partially why it might be frustrating when you feel challenged in achieving those goals, because it's like they should be simple, they should be easy. But you know, if something doesn't come naturally to us or we weren't taught it, there can be a learning curve. It can take time. And I think a lot of what you're trying to achieve is a greater sense of groundedness and just a deeper level of conviction and trust in yourself, even when you don't know what's going on. And it's kind of interesting because in every single group there have been, like, all the messages have been different, but like the readings have been, but like there have been key themes, and one key theme that has been throughout all the readings is trust and faith. And I think in your case, you're ready to make powerful changes that you know you've needed to make. I mean, the fact that we have Touching Earth, planting something new, you could literally be planting a garden. That could be something new, especially like with all the cornucopia here, we have a lot of fruit. So one new thing is that it's possible that for those of you that came to this reading, you might want to look into your birth chart if that's possible. You could have been stuck in a cycle where no matter how much you worked or how hard you worked, it just seemed like you weren't getting the results you felt like that matched the amount of work you put in. I do feel like things could be changing for the best, in the sense that you're starting to get recognition for things that you've put time, effort, and energy to. you're starting to put yourself out there, or at the very least feel less uncomfortable around putting yourself out there or taking charge in your own life in ways that maybe you've been holding back on. One new thing that I see here that's unique to this group is that if you've been wanting to make changes, especially when it comes to your health, when it comes to nutrition, and when it comes to being more grounded and connecting to earth more, that is heavily indicated here. And I think that one of the new things that may be happening is if you've been attempting to do this for a while and you find that, you know, you get discouraged or you get frustrated or there are obstacles and it just seems very challenging. One of the new things entering your life is that these changes are actually going to be a lot easier, more intuitive, and they're going to feel so good that it's easy to maintain them. But I think part of what is changing though, and part of why this is becoming more doable, is because I think you may be recognizing the unsustainable aspects of the changes you've been trying to make. So like, for example, you know, if you have the ambition to eat only home-cooked meals, that's a great ambition to have. But if you're a really busy person who doesn't really like going to the grocery store, doesn't even really enjoy cooking, and now is responsible for coming up with a menu for yourself and potentially others every single day, that sounds like a lot to take on at once. But maybe instead of doing that, maybe your goal is to try meal prepping so that you get it all done at once, and then maybe you have a greater likelihood of eating home-cooked meals with enough flexibility that if you want to eat out, or you just need to have something that satisfies a craving, you do, and you don't feel bad about it because it's balanced, because you're giving yourself what you need. You're not depriving yourself of nutrients. That's just an example. But one of the aspects of this newness is that things that you've been trying to accomplish for a long time, you're realizing that they can be accomplished more easily, more simply, and that you can accomplish them in ways that are supportive for your natural rhythms rather than ones that create frustration and discouragement because they are out of alignment with your natural rhythms and just like what is manageable on a day-to-day basis. I think that you struggle from something that I similarly do, which is like, I think your goals are bigger than your energetic capacity on a daily basis, which is a beautiful thing. And I think the universe is actually helping you be able to achieve and do more by helping you focus on the habits that you need to shift so that you will have more energy, so that you will have more stamina, you will have more endurance. But at the same time, realizing that these changes don't have to go against what works for you. And truth be told, one of the things that you may be realizing is, oh, I need to tune out a lot of the outside world when it comes to what's best for my health and what I need to be doing for myself. Because guess what? People don't know what's best for you. They may know what's best for them, and they might believe that's what's best for everyone. But I don't know about you, but I've kind of noticed in life, there seems to be no such thing as a one-size-fits-all solution for people. We're all unique. We all have unique needs. We all have, unique ways of meeting those needs. We're all different. And for you, you have the ability and the power to meet those needs in a way that works for you. I think where you're struggling is just giving yourself permission to accept that, sure, maybe your process is more stressful than others is. Maybe your process is more chaotic or more confusing. Maybe it lacks the consistency you crave. But at the same time, maybe you don't truly crave consistency. Maybe you just crave a feeling of acceptance, like you're doing something right for once. And maybe it's time to realize that you're not doing anything wrong by doing what works for you. But, your needs might be more unique, and so they're not expressed and reflected outside of you. That's why you might feel the urge as you start to figure these things out to share with others, what you've done to change things, what you've done that works for you. You know, an example I was thinking of like surrendering to your own process and knowing that's how you are. Like for me, it does not matter. I always had ambitions to be that type of student that planned in advance and did a little bit every time. But the reality is that if there is not a fire underneath my ass, I am not moving. I am not doing anything. Panic is the power that helps me get things done. And is it the best way of getting things done? No. But is it the most efficient way for me to get things done? At this point in my life, yes. That doesn't mean it'll be that way forever, and it doesn't mean it'll be that way for you forever. But if it's the most effective process for right now, that is what's best for you. It makes me think of, you know, the many professors and teachers of my past that said, you can't get this done in one night. And I would think in my head, that's adorable. And then I would try to get things done earlier, and it just wouldn't happen. Like I said, I was trying to milk a rock. But you know what? Once that deadline was scarily close to my neck, it got a lot easier to get things done. And it took me just surrendering and accepting to the reality that, like, right now, panic is the most effective fuel for me to accomplish my goals. And instead of spending the rest of the time that I have stressing over the things that I should be doing and feeling guilty that I'm not, I'm just gonna unapologetically do what I want until the fire is hot enough that I'm like ready to go and get it done. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not saying that you need to be that way. You know, maybe you are very methodical and need to do a little bit a day. I aspire to be that a little bit of a day kind of girly. Maybe one day, but I'm not going to force myself and push myself in the same way you shouldn't either. So I think what you'll find is that part of what's new here is things are just working out for you in ways that they didn't in the past. And also, you just seem to be surrounded by a lot of good luck. Like, you seem to be very lucky during this time, especially with the Wheel of Fortune here. And there are aspects of destiny that you're stepping into. Once again, I'm going to encourage you to look at your astrological chart. Maybe get a reading from a reader. My moon girl is an excellent reader, Haley. K Moon, obviously. I don't know if she's offering readings right now because we're about to be doing class. But definitely if you have a trusted astrology advisor or something like that, see if there are any transits that are ending that maybe have caused like stagnancy or disconnection from self or just challenges on your path outside of your control. Or see if there's anything coming in soon that is just very supportive of what you're trying to create or supportive of shifts and changes. That might help you work with this energy better and know what you need. But also, I feel like one of the beautiful aspects of the newness coming into your world is clarity on where you don't need to explain yourself or where you don't need approval, and where you just like the value, the wisdom, the answers you're looking for are not in someone else's guidance. They're in the results of your actions and how effective they were. So circling it back to that example of like waiting until the last minute to do something, that may be the most effective way for you to do things right now. It may also be the thing that allows you to realize like, oh, well, now that I'm not spending my time stressing on what I think I should be doing, I'm going to go sleep for a long time. I'm going to go watch that movie that I've been putting off. I'm going to go do XYZ thing. You're creating new structures for yourself that are not only sustainable, but you're bringing in a lot of stability and abundance and quite literally resources from the work that you put in. One new experience that you'll have is that the hard work that you put in will actually start to be worth it. You'll be feeling more accomplished. And here's the thing, I think that there have been times where you've worked really hard and you've gotten results that you were looking for or achieved certain metrics or got where you wanted to be, but it just wasn't enough and it wasn't satisfying and it didn't feel like anything. So one thing that's changing is that you're recognizing when enough is enough. Like that you're celebrating that instead of beating yourself up. And I also think that you're going to find that this may just be a lucky time that you're stepping into, where of the work that you put in, you just receive more than you would have expected for just a little bit of effort. I do feel like for a lot of you, there could be like a specific transit that you're being encouraged to utilize, especially if it has anything to do with like Jupiter. That might be something you want to look at. But I definitely think a new thing for you as well is I think you're going to be feeling more confident and just less like, and more unapologetic. I'm really thinking of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen right now, because their sister once talked about a quote, something that they told their other sister, that no is a complete sentence. And I think that that is something that you're integrating, where you don't feel like you have to explain yourself, where you can reject advice that's unsolicited or just doesn't work for you. You don't have to give too much of yourself away. And also, you don't have to find a sense of clarity or calm when you're in the midst of a chaotic process. Sometimes your chaos will work for you, and sometimes other people won't get it and they'll be like, why are you doing it this way? They don't have to get it. You don't need their approval. And I think more than anything, one of the new things coming into your life is clarity around what never needed fixed to begin with. And instead working with those things, because those are the things that are going to get you where you want to be as quickly as possible, and also help you move through life with the least amount of tension and strain and agitation as possible, because you're not going against your own natural currents. And with this opossum being here, I also feel like one thing that you're going to be getting better at is truly taking time away from the world, like in a way where if you have a hard time being comfortable in your own space, in your own energy, in your own independence, I think that you're gonna find refuge in that in a way you never have. Like, even if you're the type of person who's like, I don't like being alone, I don't like being by myself, I think you might find that is changing, which is normal. People change. I also think that one new thing that might be entering your world is receiving financial support and financial abundance from work that you've done in your past that has yet to pay off. So it might be new for you to achieve this level of success, or it might be new for you to be at this level of stability. And one of the opportunities that you will have, and this is a new thing that you get to decide if you want in your life or not, is to use some of those resources that you've worked so hard to earn to do more of what you love. Whether that is giving yourself the excuse to do nothing and just shutting off the world for a weekend, treating yourself to a spa day, or, buying the, expensive organic foods that you've always wanted to treat yourself to but felt like you couldn't justify. You're reaching a place where you can justify that. And in fact, I think some things that you found hard to justify were really just coming down to a place of you not feeling like you were deserving of what would have helped you. I feel like if you've labored under the assumption that you don't need to feel centered, you don't need to feel balanced in order to be successful, like you can be at the end of your rope and still get things done and make things happen, that's a wonderful thing. But also, if there are things that could allow you to be more sustained and nourished and be less strained, I think that is something that is coming into your world. I definitely think that any ways in which you've been putting yourself out there and feel like you haven't been getting the results that you've wanted, you might need to shift and ask yourself, what part of what I'm sharing with the world isn't authentic to me? What part of it is what I think the world wants to see, rather than me expressing authentically from a place of love? You might find that making that shift is exactly what brings forth the kind of results you were hoping you'd get. But I think for all of you, no matter what, I think all of you are going to just be more visible in the near future in ways that you couldn't imagine. So one of those ways I see it in a glow up. in a makeover or something like that, where you try on a new look, you have new clothes, you have new habits that make you feel better, that aren't going against what feels right and what's good for you. And as a result, I think like your energy is just more attractive. You're going to be feeling better. So I feel like you're going to naturally just attract more around you. Like people are going to notice you more. If you notice that when you go out in public, like people stare at you more often, or people want to talk to you or interact with you, or it just seems like you're attracting more opportunities, more attention, more praise, more in general. You will notice that happens as a direct result of the ways in which you've shifted your self-care routines and the ways in which you've shifted in general how you care for yourself and how you operate. Because you're no longer resisting yourself, you have so much more energy and vibrancy just within you and being shown outward around you that, you know, is going to kind of make you irresistible to the world around you. Like I think one thing that's new for you is ways of living that you thought were out of reach. You realize now, and this is actually similar to another group too, you realize now that these ways of living or these ways of existing and these feelings of how you assume you would feel if you had these things, you realize you have access to those feelings, to that level of fulfillment and satisfaction in the here and now, and it's not tied to an external thing. I also just feel as well, though, you truly coming into your own in a way where you just care a hell of a lot less around what others have to say about what you're doing, others' opinions of you, period. Like, I feel like you really are mastering self-protection, but also mastering security in yourself. And of course, that doesn't mean you're waking up one day and figuring it out, but rather life is throwing tests your way, or not, I wouldn't say tests, because it's not like you're being graded or anything like that, but rather life will always give us opportunities to see what might be left unaddressed within us. And I think what you'll find is that you gain more and more clarity every time an experience happens that maybe in your past would have shaken you, or maybe would have caused you to question yourself. It's easy for you to discard those things because you have so much conviction in what's working for you and what you know and feel to be true. And I also want to mention one of the new things that's coming into your world is that you are creating a deeper connection to the divine through forging a deeper connection to the material realm and the earth. So what I mean by that is you might hear the divine and the rustle of the wind. You might connect more deeply to trees and communicate with them, which you should. Trees are excellent friends. I think that you are going to be understanding spirit and how spirit communicates through nature, and just the benefits for your own human body in being in nature. Like, I feel like a lot of things that maybe you're struggling to get clarity on, by just literally sitting and observing nature, you might have tons of eureka moments where you're like, oh, I just need to be patient here, or oh, I just need to do XYZ. Like, this is huge breakthrough energy. It's also huge, I always knew I had what it took energy. This is big. I'm so glad I didn't give up on myself, on my goals, and on my dreams, because I knew that if I just stuck with them, they would happen. And so a lot of the new things coming into your world is like, even if you haven't seen the results of your hard work pay off yet, I feel like you have conviction in knowing that they will pay off, and that there's a reason why you're dedicated to what you care about so much. I also think you'll realize that the more you give yourself space and opportunity to just do things that you love and enjoy, it makes your energy more attractive. The more the changes that you do make in order to benefit your health and well-being are things that are sustainable, enjoyable, or easy for you, the easier it is for those things to stick. And ultimately, I think what you're finding is what's really new for you is that things are really coming up group 3 in ways that kind of shock you and are like, what did I do to deserve this? And it's not that you were undeserving of it ever. It's just that things are flowing. And I really do think for the vast majority of you, there were things happening astrologically that could have been just making things harder than they needed to be, and it wasn't your fault. It doesn't have anything to do with you. It's like, it's not that you're doing something wrong. It's just a pattern. It just happens, you know. As a girly with moon square Pluto, like, part of my birth chart is things just are harder than they need to be, and I guess that's just something my soul chose to learn in this lifetime. And what I'm talking about is not a birth chart thing. It seems to be more of a transit thing. So you can unless you moon square Pluto, and then you're like, yeah, I get you, girl. Then you might kind of get what I'm talking about. But ultimately, it seems like for a lot of you, there just could have been invisible barriers that you didn't realize were making it more challenging for you to accomplish certain things, or for you to enact changes that you were ready to make, or at least consciously ready to make. Maybe not ready to enact them, but any ideas that have been stuck in your head that you've really believed in, that you can't seem to let go of, but you've been like, and they've been percolating in your head so long, you wonder if they're even worth it. Take this reading as a sign that, yeah, you should go for those things. You should do those things. Like, the ideas in your head that you have been waiting to ground, follow through on them. They haven't left your memory and your consciousness for a reason. And in fact, I think that doing those new things, starting those new things, grounding those new things could be just really powerful in terms of you feeling very, like, more confident in your ideas, and realizing that, you know, your inspiration and what you have to share with the world not only has value to others who get to receive it or consume it, but also it has value for you in the process of creating it. And just having that experience of getting to ground, you know, these ideas in your head, and accepting how they appear, even if they're not perfect, or even if they're messy, and realizing, oh, that's still great and it's still okay. I definitely think if you are somebody who has a hard time seeing the value sometimes in things for the sake of just because they make you happy, or just because it's an idea you really like, I think you're going to start to see how there's a lot more value there than you realized. And a lot of that value just has to do with not forcing yourself to be creatively constipated because you need your creative poops to be perfect. They don't need to be. Creation can look like anything. And I think that you're just grounding in a way where a lot of silly things like fears, or, you know, just things that felt like insurmountable obstacles or blockages, you realize were, you know, really just fears keeping you trapped. And the thing is it doesn't mean the new thing that you experience isn't an absence of fear, but rather it's an acceptance of when fear may arise, and the courage to meet whatever it is head on anyway, and know that it's okay to feel the fear and do it anyway. I do that every time I post a video. In fact, there are some times where I film and I even wait a few days because the fear gets so strong. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to post it. I'm scared. And then I do. And then it's always fine. And you guys are always so wonderful and kind and supportive. And like, and then it reminds me how silly it was. And I'm just like, I gotta stop doing that. Sometimes I still do. But I've gotten better at not doing that because I tune into reality, the reality where I connect with wonderful human beings, and that is really all that's truly important. And the silly fears that I have are nothing but an illusion keeping me stuck in stagnancy and, I don't know, just shit that ain't for me. Okay, but I know it is for you. A lot of abundance and a lot of just ease in your process and powerful changes in the material realm, especially when it comes to your body's well-being, your connection to nature and reality in the material realm, gaining wisdom from it, and then also seeing where you are forcing yourself to operate in the material realm in ways that just don't work for you, and changing it up and giving yourself permission to do that, and realizing like, oh, I should just do things the way it works for me. And keep moving forward. And if anyone has a problem with it, it's really weird. I won't worry about it. Okay, so now I want to look at how you can attract these new things into your world through your energy and through your mentality. So it's less of actually having to do something and more about getting in alignment with these ideas. And so if some of these ideas are already ones that you have and beliefs that you hold, then know that you're already on track to bringing these in even sooner. And even if you don't do these things, these new things are coming into your life anyway, but by embodying these ideas, they might come sooner. So for group number 3, please, Spirit, how can they attract these new beautiful things into their life and their world? When I'm grateful for what I have, I can feel good along the way to what I desire. So one example that I'm being given is to pay attention to your process and the ways in which you've condemned yourself for your process, where you felt like you've done things wrong, and see the benefit of how that process works. So, I made the example that, procrastination kind of works for me in some ways right now. And the way, and one thing I'm really grateful for that does for me, and that I figured that process out, is it allows me more time for tomfoolery. Because when I'm not because it's hard to enjoy your tomfoolery when you're feeling guilty and feeling like you shouldn't be doing it. But if you give yourself unapologetic tomfoolery time, then you reap the benefits of what you were doing, and now you have more energy and more internal reserves to actually dedicate towards the thing I need to get done. So for me, I'm grateful that my process gives me more time for tomfoolery. You might want to see for your process, maybe you're grateful that your process gives you security and stability. Maybe you're a very methodical person. I love that for you, by the way. And if that is the case, if you're very methodical and things feel stagnant, maybe just allow some chaos into your life. It might be very challenging for you. It's challenging for those whose natural state is attuned to chaos. So I don't know. I can imagine that'd be very hard for someone who is more methodical. But if you could just even try that and see what shifts and what changes, and where maybe you could be a little bit more lenient, or where maybe certain aspects of what you're doing are unnecessary, it might just give you more freedom and more excitement, especially if your life and your world is meticulously planned. But yeah, being grateful for how you operate and how you work, because there's only one you, and that you is so awesome. And only you can know. I don't know why, but I just heard Smokey Bear, only you can prevent wildfires. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that has to do with anything. That being said, though, we also have I release time and let the universe show me what to do, which I think is huge, because a lot of times the universe is going to show you what to do, and your conscious mind is going to be suspicious of it because it's deep down what you want to do, not what you think you should be doing. And that's where I'm hoping that a new thing that will integrate for you is the realization that maybe what I need isn't what I expect of myself. Maybe what I need is what I'm yearning for. And when I give myself that, it's actually a lot easier for me to focus on what I think I should be doing after I've done what I've needed. Interesting. And also, I wouldn't worry about timelines. You're exactly where you need to be. And in terms of what you're creating and in terms of time, I think that there are some things coming into your world that are going to happen almost instantaneously, and there are others that are going to take time. Especially this 9 of Pentacles stuff. For some of you, this could be a windfall of abundance that happens, but I think for a lot of you, it's going to be something that builds, and you're going to have an idea of what you're cultivating. And then after a little bit of time, then you're really going to start receiving those results. It's like planting a garden. You plant the seeds, and you can't dig up the seeds to be sure they're there. You have to trust that they're growing, but you really don't start to see that what you've planted is working until those first sprouts shoot up. But just because those first sprouts shoot up doesn't mean they're ready to harvest yet. They need time to grow and bloom and, all that jazz. And you do too. So be patient with yourself. What else, Spirit? What other ways can group 3 attract these energies into their world? I don't have to fear my fear. I can use it as a way to get closer to love, which is so beautiful because number one, I think when fear arises, using that as an opportunity to go to your guidance, to go within, to do things that are nurturing and helpful. I feel like your fears can literally then just be used as a catalyst for greater trust and faith, and give you opportunities to just access more spiritual energy that maybe if you weren't fearful, you wouldn't have been open to. I will say, like, when it comes to me using tarot and cards and general oracles in my everyday world, I use it most for encouragement. It's like I don't need to be told what to do, but it does really help to be told that I can do it and that it's gonna be okay and that I can handle it. And so I want you to know you can do it too. And not only can you do it, but you can let in a lot more encouragement than you think. And allow your fear to be something that you use to show why you should just be compassionate with yourself and not hard on yourself. And when it arises, use it as an opportunity to connect to love, because love is the most powerful form of creation on this planet. Okay, and then on the back of the deck, we have believing in spiritual guidance gives me certainty and the freedom to keep dreaming, even when I can't yet see the result. And I think that's the thing. Maybe for some of you, you want to develop a way to get in touch with your intuition. And I will say, if it's not beyond October 1st, 11:59 p.m., the Cards and Stars class is going to be right up your alley if it's something that's doable for you. If it's not, I understand. I don't want you to feel bad about that. And you can. I mean, I'm self-taught. You don't need a class to learn. But maybe you need to build your faith in spiritual guidance or believe in what guidance tells you. Because I will say there are a lot of times where my guidance team has told me things, and even though I've trusted them, I've still been very afraid and very stressed as a result. So maybe I didn't fully trust them, even though I believed what they were saying. That belief wasn't powerful enough to stop listening to my fear and panic that said, we better stress about this 24/7, 365, because otherwise something bad might happen. You know, it's really silly ultimately, but ultimately, like, I've had many experiences that just remind me, like, wow, the universe really does have my back. I really can have faith. Like, there are a lot of times where I feel very silly and and deeply humbled and grateful and moved by the ways in which the divine does not stop supporting me and encouraging me and empowering me and just helping me on my path, especially when I'm not consciously aware of it, and realizing later that, oh, everything that they told me was true, and I truly didn't have to worry, and everything was fine. And and honestly, it's just going through that process more and more makes it easier and easier for me to be like, okay, I don't have to ruminate in this stress or get lost in it. I'll just accept that I don't know what's happening and it kind of scares me, but I'm just going to keep moving forward and trust it's okay. And I think that is something that you are stepping into, and you are going to be so powerful and unstoppable. I'm so excited for you. I don't know why I whispered. Maybe it's because it's a secret. Okay. So we're going to go ahead now and finish off with some final guidance for you moving forward. Yes, we have surrender to rest and sleep to prevent burnout, slow down, honor your need for quiet time and peaceful sleep to rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit. And one thing I would highly recommend is if you have a hard time sleeping, like, don't get into bed until you're truly feeling tired. And also do give yourself time to wind down. Don't take your phone into bed with you. It's literally like taking the whole world into bed with you. I'm a hypocrite because I do still do that. But maybe if your process is doom scroll until your eyes are so tired they can't physically open, if that's what you need in order to surrender to rest and sleep, my dude, do what you need to do, but you need to get some sleep. You do need it. So you might want to try to allocate for that. But I know it's harder than it seems. Like, we might want to sleep, but we might struggle with that. But even then, maybe just learning how to create mental rest even when you can't sleep, or doing something that's at the very least relaxing when you have trouble sleeping, that might be really helpful. I'm going to treat myself the way I would treat my best friend. And that, I think, is beautiful, because when you are feeling doubt, or when you are uncertain, or when you kind of wish that you had an outside person's opinion, just project the idea that what you're curious about is something that your bestie is curious about or doing. And what would you tell them? More often than, and also when it comes to how you treat yourself, would you treat your bestie that way? And if you wouldn't, especially if it's unkind or unfair to you, cut it out, because you don't deserve to treat yourself that way. We also have Horus with strength, and I really love this because this is just a sign that you're already on the right path and to just keep going. You know, strength is not about forcing, it's about enduring. It's about being willing to commit to a vision, even if you need to take a break, even if you need to rest, even if you need to step away from it for a second. Just don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your path, because you're so much closer than you realize to a lot of the experiences, energies, and perspectives, and just like feelings of existing in your present world that you've been desiring for years. You know it's there. It's like, and you are so close, so close. You are well on your way. It's just a matter of being patient and paying attention to what conditions you placed upon yourself that make it, number one, harder for you to endure, and number two, take away your reserves of strength and stamina because they're out of alignment, they're out of whack, they're not helpful for you. Does that make sense? I hope so. And finally, we have learn from life. And I think this is so important because this is kind of life's way of saying, hey, you don't have to be sure of every move you make before you make it. Learn to be okay with making mistakes, because those are where your most powerful lessons lie. And there are going to be times through this process where you do slip up, where you do mess up, where you do try something and it doesn't work out, or that's what happens. But you learned so much from that. And I think that if you've been stuck in like analysis paralysis, or you've just been feeling like you have to have everything figured out before you start, or you have to know what to do in order to get moving, instead, just get moving and figure it out as you go, and accept that in the mistakes that you make, you are going to be moving so much further, so much more quickly by embracing those mistakes. Because number one, you're a smart person. You're going to learn from them. You're going to learn from them quite quickly. And number two, in realizing you don't have to have it all figured out in order to move forward and move towards goals and the things you want to experience, you then spend less time living in your head and more time being present with your present and responding and flowing with what feels good, what feels right, and honestly just embracing the wisdom you already have and gaining more and more as you go, so that you don't have to spend more time in your life questioning and feeling disempowered and confused for reasons that could be changed if you just shifted your perspective or were willing to make a mistake. Because a lot of the mistakes that you might be afraid of making are way, way, way more low stakes than you realize. And also, I think in doing so, you'll give yourself permission to be less perfect, because you're not perfect anyway, and realize like the true growth, the true value in what I'm doing is not in the perfection of execution. It's in the willingness to follow the divine inspiration, the impulse, the action. And unless there are no like conscious, like, don't do that, that's dangerous to your well-being things going on, flowing with it and seeing what wisdom it has for you, because it will have a lot more wisdom than you realize. And I think there are also just certain things that you won't know or understand about yourself until you just try them for the first time. Like, how will you know that how will you know that the certain vegetable is really great for your energy levels if you don't try it? Or how do you know like a movie sucks if you haven't watched it? Like, there's a real encouragement for you to not assume anything when it comes to what is for you and what isn't for you if you haven't tried it. If you've tried it and you know it's not for you, then yeah, don't waste your time. But also, feel free to circle back to things as you start to feel more different and see if they respond, and see if you respond to them differently. You might have to reassess how to meet your needs as you evolve, because what you might need in order to nourish that part of you may change. But ultimately, the wisdom that you're looking for, the answers that you're looking for, I was about to say are not outside of you, but hopefully this reading has given you answers that you're looking for. But moving forward, I mean, of course, you can still use these for confirmation and things like that, but moving forward, don't wait for the answer of how something is going to happen. Just go for it. Just see what happens, and give yourself permission to not need to know what is going to happen, to not need to know how to do something, and just give yourself permission to have a beginner's mind and to just try, because that is going to lead to more wisdom, more understanding, more confidence, and more empowerment within you than a decade of analysis and planning ever could. So group 3, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background for at least the first 30 seconds. That is the simplest and easiest way to show support and appreciation for my channel. But of course, like I said, if you'd like to do that in other ways, liking the video, subscribing, commenting down below, letting me know how it resonates, hitting that notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading, really important. Especially for time-sensitive things like the bonus goodies that you will receive if you sign up for Stars and Cards by 11:59 p.m. tonight, September 28th. Or, sign up for the class itself, closes October 1st, so be sure to get in before then. If you'd like to support me other ways, check out candles, merch, social media, other videos. You can check out ones with extendeds. You can leave me a tip. My Cashapp is palehag. My PayPal is my email. You can send me love. I'm sending you love right back. You can share me with a friend. Just send me good vibes. I'm sending you good vibes right back. But that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope these messages resonated and brought you clarity and excitement for the new you and the new world you're stepping into. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video. I love you guys so much, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!